With me, Ms. Gloria Akufu. Frank Davis. Akutu Ampao. Kweku Esefi. Godfred Yeboadame. And Egbert Fable Jr.
Please, my Lord, here for the President, the first respondent.
Please, your Lord, to appear for the second respondent. And with me are my learned friend Stanley Amatefio, Frida Bruce Apia, and Stephanie Amatefio, my Lord.
If your lordships please, I appear for the third respondent, and with me my learned friend Samuel Kujo.
Lord, at 10:35 this morning, I was handed 3 large envelopes full of pink sheets, my Lord, by Mr. Akutu Ampao. My Lord, we indicated yesterday that if they had pink sheets that they intended to use and they made them available to us, we would need to check them. My Lord, I had expected that he would give me the sheets yesterday, and I said so, whereupon his reply was that he thought today would be spent dealing first with KPMG. We finished with KPMG yesterday, so these could have been given to me yesterday so that our IT colleagues could have checked them. They were given to me at 10:35 this morning. We will need to check them, my Lord, so if he has other matters to cross-examine on other than pink sheets, he could do so. But definitely, in the light of the revelations in the KPMG report, we will need to check each and every pink sheet to ensure that what we saw and heard Mr. Amano Dodo describe of exhibits with different polling stations and vice versa, we will need to check them before we can embark on cross-examination, thrusting them under the eyes of Dr. Faijan, my Lord. And, my Lord, if we had had these yesterday, we could have checked them, my Lord.
I thought we gave indication yesterday that they should be given over to, at least I had my brother Doche on the issue, and we all agreed. We thought that but yes,
yes, my Lord, We've given them these pink sheets for them to have some time to check them. We do not intend starting cross-examination immediately because, as I indicated to your lordships yesterday, there are a number of outstanding matters arising from the KPMG report, which we think that the court will have to make a decision on one way or the other before we can proceed. Because as it is now, we are in the same position when we stopped the cross-examination, when the respondents indicated that they did not have the pink sheets that we were tendering. We are satisfied that these pink sheets that we are going to tender are part of the KPMG report. We are very satisfied about that. But beyond that, there are other issues that are still hanging that we believe we should bring to the notice of the court, because this whole issue about the KPMG coming in had to do with the number of pink sheets that has been filed by the petitioners. And we believe that our position is clearly vindicated in that we have filed what we said we have filed, which is 11,842 pink sheets.
Yes.
My Lord, the KPMG report indicated that there was a total unique count from the registered set of 8,675 pink sheets. 8,675 pink sheets. Now, KPMG indicated further that they have excluded from the count 1,545 pink sheets. Which they claim did not have one or other qualifications, such as a polling station name, polling station code, exhibit number. Now, the reason for the exclusion of this 1,545, which is due to remarks which have been indicated at page 7 of the report. Which says NPN, no polling station name. My Lord, it is our contention that if there is no polling station name, the polling station can still be identified by the polling station code.
We are referring to
Page Roman numeral 7 of the report. Which gives the various code which they use as remarks in excluding the pink sheet. The first one is NPN, meaning there is no polling station name. And it is our respectful contention that if there is no polling station name, the polling station code can be used to identify the pink sheet. The second one is NPC, no polling station code. Again, if the code is not there, the polling station name can be used to determine the polling station code. The third one, UPS, unclear polling station name. If it is unclear, the polling station code, again, can be used to determine which polling station it is. UPC, unclear polling station code. If that is unclear, the polling station name can be used to determine what the polling station code is. No exhibit number. My Lord, the order of the court did not say that at all costs there should be exhibit numbers. It said exhibit numbers, if any, So that should not have been a ground to exclude a pink sheet from the count. Then we have unclear exhibit number. Again, these can be determined by the polling station name and code. Then we have NBAI, no ballot accounting information. I do not even know why this was used, because they were not to look at the pink sheet and determine what was on the face of the pink sheet. They have excluded it on the grounds that there was no ballot accounting information. I do not think that that was part of their remit. Then TEN, two exhibit numbers, different exhibit numbers. So they have excluded that, and we do not think that that was right. CWA, polling station code without alphabet. My lord, the polling station code is without an alphabet. The name of the polling station can be used to determine the proper code. And so that should not have been a ground to exclude the pink sheet. And then different exhibit series. Again, polling stations could clearly have been identified and therefore should have been counted as part of the pink sheets filed by the petitioner.
$545 pink sheets that were not counted didn't have any of these details on it at all. I mean, each pink sheet didn't, I mean, they couldn't be identified because they didn't, all the,
all the three were not present.
Yes.
No, my lord. If you look through, you'll see that they've been excluded on just one of these things. And
if you are serializing all these, would I say, irregularities which resulted from the referee's report, the referee's report is now part of the official record of the court. Why don't you formally, if I may respectfully suggest, let us know this on paper by way of motion so that it will be considered? Because I am at a loss that the referee's report is now part of this record of this court. But then there are certain things still hanging, which I cannot certainly understand. Because they were asked to do a specific job, which they have done. But there are still questions which are left unanswered. And I don't know whether this is the proper procedure to draw the court's attention to.
very well, if your worship think that is the way we should go, we will do it.
I am just trying to intervene by
well, my lord, we are open to that. That is why we attempted to tender our comments the other day, but we are open to that.
So, looking at the report, if you look at the report, are you saying that those, let's say, for example, let's say, page 50, look at page 50 of the report,
Page
50. I mean, any page, but page 50. Are you saying that, let's say 118, the first,
yes.
where they have the UPN,
Yes.
where they have the UPN and UPC, they form part of the 1,545.
That is so.
Really?
Yes. That is so. I mean, from the record, we have identified 850 using the polling station codes provided in the report.
But why, if they have the exhibit number, for example, the same page 50, if they have the exhibit number, the polling station name, the polling station could have UPN, that is unclear polling
Name, station name.
polling name. Why would it be counted?
Well, my lord, that's the issue.
Honestly, we need clarification for the KPM because I don't see, I would have thought that seriously, I was all the time thinking that the 1,545 pink sheets couldn't be identified because they didn't have any of the...
No.
If the police station, I mean the pink sheet has a number like 124, it has GO51204 as a police station code. We have the exhibit number there. There's apparently it is CMB shed, which I mean maybe it doesn't have the full. How can it be excluded? I mean I don't understand. Please, is that what was done? Does it show that it has been done?
My lord, if I may respectfully be heard on this, it is clear in the report that every sheet filed and part of the registrar's set has been captured and counted. It is clear. And appendices 8.2.1 to 8.2.24, which is the main body of the report, shows that they've been counted. They are part of the 13,900 and something.
They were counted individually, but the witness actually also said that there were 8,675 unique pink sheets of polling stations. Then 1,545, which could not be properly identified. I mean, that's where my confusion lies.
Well, my lord, respectfully, our position is that these sheets have been counted. They are part of the 13,000. What KPMG also further testified about was as to certain tests they did, for instance, regarding what are the unique polling station codes within the entire set of 13,000. And in respect of that count, they indicated that where things were illegible, they took them out for the test. In other words, the test that they did in order to see how many unique polling station codes or how many unique exhibit numbers. In regards to those tests, yes, they said they excluded those where those unclarities and things that were illegible were. But my lord, respectfully, I'm a little bit concerned at what counsel for the petitioner is seeking to do this morning, because counsel for the petitioners keep saying the report vindicates them. If the report vindicates them, then we should just proceed and let their vindication be a matter of address to the court. But having said the report vindicates them, then they go on to say there are things hanging in respect of the report. If there are things hanging in respect of the report, these petitioners resisted the count by KPMG, as your lordship knows.
I think it's gone beyond that one.
Yes, but my lord, if there are things hanging, what is the procedure to bring out those hanging things? Is the procedure just to stand up in court before cross-examination and say that there are things hanging? Is there something that they would like to apply to the court to be done in respect? They haven't indicated that, and we are just here listening to this sort of address, essentially, as regards the KPMG report. We all have the KPMG report now. It is quite clear every single sheet has been counted and actually documented in this report. The various tests that were done lead to various conclusions which the witness has testified to, but that is for us to deal with in addresses. I cannot see how, at this stage, when they are supposed to cross-examine, continue their cross-examination, they can just get up and say there are things hanging, and then on the other side they've been vindicated. If you've been vindicated, then the simplest thing is to proceed.
Mr. Chikata and Mr. Addison, let's see whether we can make some progress before the report indicates on page 12, the main report, page 12, the third paragraph. There's something, I don't know if we can make the third paragraph.
No, the main report, page, I did page 12, the one
The first page, well,
under the heading factual findings, under sub 3.2. It starts from page 11, then page 12. Yeah. The main report, page 12.
The first page, well, okay.
Page 12. It's 3.2 starts from page 11 and to the third paragraph. After the control checks were performed, exhibits presented by the registrar were cross-checked against the presiding judge's set of exhibits. The cross-check was able to clarify 34 of 1,545 exhibits that were identified as having incomplete data from the peak sheet count. A decision will need to be made as to whether the missing information of the remaining exhibits will have to be provided or sourced to determine whether or not they do indeed qualify to be included in the list. The list of exhibits that the presiding judge was served with, from which incomplete information on the set provided by the registrar could be extracted, is set out under Appendix E2. What I want us to find out is, from this 1,545, which Mr. Emmanuel Dodu said were not identified or were incomplete, so they could not easily match them against any polling station, and therefore he has given an exact number. Here he said the cross-check was able to clarify 34 out of that number, and he actually testified on that point. Now, if I understand Mr. Addison's intervention this morning, he's seeking to say that the 1,545 pin sheets could still have been identified by KPMG. Now, if that is so, from his evidence, you had representatives during the count, and he was in the box. You cross-examined him at length on other issues, and now you are seeking further clarification on this matter after the witness has been discharged. That is my worry, you know.
No, my Lord, we confronted him. Indeed, it is in our comments, and I confronted him at length on this matter. And my Lord will note that even the 34 that they said they identified using the president's set is still included, it's still excluded. It's included in the 1545. The 34 that even they say they have cross-checked and cleared is still part of the 1545. It's not been taken out of it. And we are saying, using the polling station codes, we have identified 850. Just the polling station code in the report as given, we have identified 850. Now, using other information, we have identified a further 655. So we are saying that these things can be identified clearly. And we cross-examine him on it.
To the court to have the report either varied or sent back for further consideration. Me, I was surprised that it went in. I was surprised that it not in view of what you are saying.
Yes.
You know, you should have taken advantage of other 28. The rules provide for a remedy.
Yes, my Lord, we haven't had the opportunity to do that.
You have to look at it and see how you can utilize it. Because I don't think we can, after it's been adopted, and there has been cross-examination in the absence of the rules. You know, I think the rules provide solutions to all these matters.
My Lord, we will take a look at that, and we still believe that we have the opportunity because the witness was not unconditionally discharged. And that is why we thought that we still have that opportunity. And my Lord, the report itself says that we needed further directions on this matter.
That is why you could have utilized the rule to make an application to the court at that time.
Very well. The opportunity is not lost. We will look at it.
My Lord, I'm just getting a little confused that some other extraneous source is being used to identify polling station codes are already in exhibit, not through testimony. I'm just a little concerned about that kind of procedure that uses extraneous material, as it were, to validate outside evidence, to validate something that is in evidence. I'm not sure where that information they say they are using to identify the polling stations coming from.
Material?
I heard counsel say that they had identified some of them through other means. That's what I was doing. But anyhow, my Lord, during the meeting with KPMG, KPMG indicated that they had identified. My understanding and what they said they did was that where the three indices did not meet on a document, they did not include it because there was no other source from which they could fill that information. And in view of the limited nature of their mandate, if they found that it had a polling station name, but it didn't have an exit number or code, they didn't add it to the list because there was no other means by which they could, as it were, get that information without deviating from their mandate. So that's what accounted for the 1,545. Now, during the meeting with them, they said they had identified, they had gotten that in 34 of them, out of them, 34, they had managed to get information from the president's Our position, we resisted it from our side, that you're supposed to just make comparisons, not fill in potholes, as it were. They still went ahead and indicated those 34. But our position is this. Now, the report that was generated did not have the 1,544 as part of the analysis, essentially, because as Mr. Mano stated, they did not run any tests with those. There could be duplications in the 1,500 as against those that have been already managed. My concern is that we might have to take us back to doing this exercise all over again. Council had opportunity to cross-examine. If there are any difficulties from this point, my view, respectfully, is that we should make it matters of address. If Council thinks that, in his view, respectfully, some of those polling stations could still be used, he can make that point forcefully in his address, and your lordships may decide whether or not to accept it. But to send us back to go through this exercise, the whole idea of expedition would be undermined, because we will raise issues about them, unless your lordship said we will raise issues about whether or not sufficient clarity in terms of witness exhibit has been attained, sufficient standard of clarity has been attained by those pieces of evidence, because they are in effect evidence. And if the referee is of the view that the three indices, name, code, exhibit, do not coincide, I think that is a fair assessment of what has been presented as evidence in this court. That is the work of the referee. So we have difficulties with revisiting this report all over again. It will take us back, and it might take another couple of weeks to go through this and rerun tests in relation to them. If Council has any difficulties, I think those can be put in address. I thought the most pressing issue now is whether, as part of their cross-examination, the exhibits that they seek to use are part of the report. If they are part of the report, we have indicated our position. We'll take it with subject to reservations that we may have, and which your lordships may respectfully note. But I think that where we are now, 10 years back to looking at this report, is a retrogressive step, respectfully.
If I may be heard very briefly on this. With respect, I'd like to refer to an earlier paragraph from the one that we looked at on page 12. It says there were, if I may with your permission read, page 12 of the report itself, just before Appendix A, there were a number of exhibits on which one or more of the following exhibit numbers, polling station names, and polling station code numbers were not legible. These instances have been noted in the remarks column of appendices A.1.2 to A.2.24 of this report. Because of the incomplete nature of the information in these exhibits, they were excluded from the lists on which the series of tests for duplications were run. They are featured in the document. It is just that they were not featured, not utilized in the test. So I don't see what the problem is. Ms. Addison can address on it. At this late stage, they filed the...
Next, the question. See, I think right from the word go, whilst you are thinking about the pink sheets in terms of quantity, the petitioners are thinking about the contents of the pink sheets. So 3,000 pink sheets, 5,545 pink sheets, if excluded for whatever. Definitely, if the petitioner is calling for annulment of votes, 1,545 pink sheets is a tall order. It's going to affect the polls that they are seeking to annul. You understand? That is why, and then also the fact that we agree that, for all you know, since it wasn't run, tests were not run on it to even assess whether it was a duplicated document or not, we might end up at the end of the day, if we had the 1,545 evaluated, they might end up being all duplicates. But as it is now, we are now confronted with a situation where they say they are asking for 11,000 polling stations and their votes should be annulled or whatever. But from what the KPFG man said, they are now down to 8,675. But 1,545 is in somewhere. If, as they suggested, it wasn't their mandate, but they suggested that there is a way of finding it using only the president's sets. They were able to unravel 34. And their test has also indicated that 13,000 so many, sheets were filed. They were filed. Not that they were not filed, they were filed. But we are now going to exclude 1,545 be they duplicates or unique on the basis of unclarity of a polling station name. When, if there is a way of saving those 1,545 the pink sheets by the use of other, if there is a possibility of saving those 1,545, why don't we save them and then run tests to find out whether they are even duplicates or they are originals? That is, so it is not at the address stage, there wouldn't be any need, because at the address stage, they will, what will we do with them? Assuming that the court decides that, oh, based upon the addresses, we are going to allow. Then are we going to go back, because as we said earlier, we don't even know the 1,545 police stations. Are we going to go back then and look at their contents or what? So if I think addresses may not be a solution to the problem. We should look at finding a way of looking at the documents that have been set aside for whatever reason.
Well, my Lord,
we have to distinguish between two matters. The first one being the exact number of exhibits delivered by the petitioners to the registrar. And that is what was the foundation of this KPMG controversy, quantity. Whether they were short-served, whether they had enough copies for the purpose and all that. The second one about the 1,545, out of which 34 were clarified. From what Mr. Addison has said, if what he's saying is correct, do you need the KPMG to do that? He's saying that without certain of the missing information, you can still identify the polling station concerned and all that. And that's what we are concerned about, to see the exact polling station, the results that were covered by it, and then the effect, the status of the results, whether they hold or they don't hold. So I don't really see what the problem is.
my Lord,
Unless I don't understand what
it's just that, my Lord, the application for the referee was made on account of the dispute as regards the number of exhibits that were filed. The referee has given his report, and all these 1,500 odd have been counted and are featured in the report. KPMG have been cross-examined and they've left. And where we are at this late stage, when very well.
The man is still in the, he can be recalled at any time.
Very well.
Evidence of substantial justice. Because if you look at the rule, yeah, it is so clear. Please, let's not suppress evidence in a very serious matter like this. We shouldn't suppress evidence.
My lords, respectfully, if the claim being made on behalf of the petitioners is that the KPMG report vindicates them as far as 11,842 exhibits as in the affidavit, if that is their contention, my lord, it's hard to see how that contention can be derived from the KPMG report. Even if you add the 1,545, even if you add...
I'm not even finished with my submission. Maybe counsel will wait for me to finish my submission, then he can respond.
Very well, very well. Resume your seat, yes.
Yes. I think the issue about the 1,545 has been clearly stated by my Lord Atuguba and my Lord Bafoboni. So I will not belabor the point on that, except to say that the issues about no polling station name, no polling station code, unclear polling station name, unclear polling station code, and so on, it's not the fault of the petitioners. These are things that are supposed to be written by the presiding officer of the form. And so if it turns out that it is fake or it is not on it, it cannot be visited on the petitions. That is how the pink sheet is. And we are saying that, nevertheless, these pink sheets can be identified. They can be identified in spite of these missing indices. So, because the impression is given as if it is the fault of the petitioners that there are no polling station name or no polling station code or they are unclear. It is not the fault of the petitioner. That is how the pink sheet is. But fortunately, in spite of that, the pink sheets can be identified. Secondly, in the report, there are 2,876 pink sheets which were found in the president's set, which were not in the register set. There was no unique count done of the president's set. Now, my Lord, no unique count was made of the president's set. Our analysis shows that out of this 2,876 pink sheets which were in the president's lot, 871 are unique. $871. 871 out of the 2,876 pink sheets found in the president's set but not in the register set. 871 are unique.